Hello everyone, my name is Marianne Kanjema. I'm so sorry I'm not able to be there today in person to present, but I am stuck in Iceland right now on vacation. My trip from Iceland to Boston got delayed 2 hours, so I'm missing my flight from Boston to Raleigh. So I'm going to present my part of the project on video. So I am responsible for presenting on our health outreach projects, which we refer to as charlas. So you'll hear me talking a lot about charlas in this presentation. So let's go ahead and get started. Starting on slide 2, these are some pictures of our group presenting. Every charla was different, so this particular charla was in a room surrounded by people on chairs and also on the floor. Moving on to slide 3. Before beginning any work on this project, we had a pretty clear vision of what we wanted to accomplish. We hoped to provide the most basic yet most useful health information all people need for survival. Sadly, many children, adolescents, and even adults in these rural parts of Guatemala have not been educated on their most basic aspects of health. With this in mind, we aimed to provide simple and engaging lessons on nutrition and oral hygiene. Education is the key to living a healthy lifestyle. By providing education to these children, they are equipped with the tools necessary to live an informed, healthy lifestyle and pass this knowledge on for generations to come. Moving on to slide 4. Before beginning our charlas, we were initially shocked by the condition of many of the schools, particularly the first charla we presented in Vuelta Grande, which is a small rural town on a mountainside. We presented at the local school here in Vuelta Grande, where there were only 2 classrooms and 1 teacher for the entire school. The classrooms were pretty bare and beat up. The teacher told us that he walks to school 50 minutes every day and then walks home 50 minutes every day because there's no public transportation on the mountainside and he doesn't have the money to own a car. We also noticed that before our presentation, the children were extremely intrigued and curious about us. Their eyes stayed glued to us the entire time before our presentation, and they had grins plastered on their faces the entire time as well. During our presentation, we were surprised by how engaged and eager to learn all the participants were, including the many mothers who attended the charlas. They answered questions, provided examples, and participated in all of our activities. We also noted during our presentations that although during our first impression we came to the conclusion that they lacked a lot of resources, they were all in fact extremely resourceful. For example, when it came time to brushing their teeth for one of our activities, there wasn't a sink available, so the entire group resorted to using the ground or the trash can to spit. They did that without hesitation or any complaining. After concluding our charlas, we noticed that all the participants were always overjoyed and extremely grateful for the small goodie bags we provided them with. The small goodie bags had essentials for hygiene, including soap, a washcloth, toothpaste, and a toothbrush. Most of them were grinning ear to ear in excitement while they were looking through their goodie bags. This small act of gratitude, hearing them exclaim, "Gracias!" with excitement and seeing the pure joy in their eyes made every effort of this trip so worth it. Moving on to slide 5. While you can never be completely prepared for new situations, especially ones where young children are involved, we feel confident that we are pretty well prepared for our charlas. We were given an abundance of information on how the charlas had gone in the past and what to expect. Because of this, we knew that every charla would be different. Some were going to be in traditional classrooms and some might be held outside. Because we were prepared to be flexible with the different environments, adjusting our lesson to meet the unique qualities of every education was done with ease. We were also told to expect a wide range of age groups, and that is exactly what we got. Some groups had only young students, while other groups had adolescents, while others were filled half with mothers. Thankfully, all of us had a decent amount of experience working with children. Although things are very different because these children are from a different country and speak a different language, children all over the world actually have a lot in common when it comes to behaviors and expressing their wants and their needs. Because of our prior experience with children, we knew one of the most important aspects of our presentation was making it fun, engaging, and visually appealing. This would keep children engaged. We accomplished this goal through the use of colorful and silly props, as well as an interactive activity that required the children to get up and out of their seats and moved around, which is always a plus. What we were not prepared for were the conversations that were had outside of our rehearsed scripts. Because none of us are fluent in Spanish, we struggled when our audience required interaction beyond our scripts. Thankfully, we always had someone nearby that could help with translations. Moving on to slide 6. From this experience, we gained a lot. From cherishing precious little moments and to appreciate all victories, no matter how small. We learned that showing a kind, giving, and loving spirit here goes really far. One tiny act of kindness has the ability to make someone's entire day. We also learned how much power a single smile holds. Whether you are on the giving or the receiving side of a smile, it feels good to be greeted with a welcoming smile. To see these children with huge grins on their faces because they were thrilled to see us is unlike any other feeling. Moving on to slide 7. Our group worked extremely well together and we delegated our work based on all of our strengths and weaknesses. So for example, one of our props was small pieces of food. Some were healthy and some were unhealthy, and we had to color these by hand and cut them out. So myself and Jordan worked on the coloring part of that. And then Danielle and Rachel worked on writing and translating our scripts. I presented the introductory information for our charlas and explained why it is so important to eat healthy foods and the type of foods that are considered healthy and unhealthy. Jordan presented why it's important to brush your teeth. She also presented on what will happen if you don't brush your teeth. And she also talked about how often and when you should brush your teeth. Danielle presented how to brush your teeth and how long you should brush your teeth for. She also presented the steps to brushing your teeth. After we were done with the steps, she initiated the teeth brushing activity. Rachel was responsible for explaining and leading our activity. So during our activity, all participants were given pieces of food. Some were healthy and some were unhealthy. They had to decide which they had and then paste it to the according tooth. Either a clean, happy one for the good foods or a dirty, sad one for the not so good foods. Moving on to slide 8. It is easy to feel hopeless and discouraged when reflecting on the magnitude of the issues that people in Guatemala face on a daily basis. To feel like just one small person incapable of resolving problems for such a large amount of people is exhausting and frankly disappointing. However, we have learned to not lose sight of what's important and focus on all of the positive things that we have accomplished. We have learned that even small victories can make a big difference if we work hard. Take, for example, the one teacher who taught an entire school in Guatemala. He alone radiates positivity and hope to countless children and their families. By focusing on the good, it is easier to dissipate more of the bad. Before beginning our journey to Guatemala, we did a lot of reading on sustainable work in foreign countries. Many who have studied medical trips and their effects have discovered that short-term medical relief trips can often cause more harm than good. Suchdev and others refers to these trips as medical tourism, which they claim is self-serving, raises unmet expectations, are ineffective, and impose burdens on local health facilities and are frankly inappropriate. We believe our work in Guatemala, particularly on the charlas, was quite the opposite, as we gave these people the best and most sustainable gift imaginable, and that is knowledge. Without your health, you have nothing, and without knowledge to make wise, informed choices, you have no health. Although they lack the many luxuries that we take for granted every day, People in Guatemala are some of the most resilient we have ever met. Despite their many challenges, they find a way to make life work and live their lives in happiness and love. Thanks so much. We'll get on to the rest of the presentation.